Am I wrong for backing out of a friend's trip after it became a groomsman trip for a wedding I'm not in? I have had a group of 4 friends since elementary school. The 5 of us have stayed close friends through elementary, middle, and high school, going to the same schools, and then through university. Separate universities, but we would visit often and stayed very close. We are all 26 yo guys and have been friends for 19 years now. One of the guys in the group, Brandon, is getting married in January. Brandon asked the other 3 guys to be groomsmen in his wedding, alongside his 2 brothers and 2 of his friends from college. This left me the only homie in the group who wasn't a groomsman. I was upset when I first realized, but I talked to my parents about it and they reminded me it's Brandon's wedding and not a group event. He can have who he likes up there, and just because I'm not a groomsman doesn't mean Brandon's doesn't consider me a friend. And that he does already have 7 people up there beside him, which is a lot. My parents are the only one I ever told I was upset about it, and now I think I'm pretty well over it. They've had a few groom's party gatherings, like they went for drinks after they got fitted for suits and went golfing together. And Brandon and his fiancée had a BBQ for their wedding party. That's always a weird reminder for me. My friends and I usually go on a trip in December to watch a football game. We started the now tradition in our first year in university and have been going every year since. It's always just been the 5 of us friends. On Tuesday, my 3 friends came to me and wanted to know my opinion on inviting the other groomsmen on the trip as a surprise to Brandon. The 3 of them were clearly all for this idea and really wanted me to say yes. I told them I wasn't sure. I had to think about it, which was awkward because it was obvious they thought I was just going to say yes. I spoke to them about it today and said, honestly, I don't want to go on a trip being the only non-groomsman. I know Brandon's brothers, and I've met his college friends, and they're all cool, but I don't want to be the clear odd man out. I told my friends that they should do it. I just won't go this year. Which was fine for me because I could do with saving some money because I have a separate destination wedding to go to in February now. The other guys won't invite the other groomsmen if it means I won't come. But it's clear they're also annoyed at them not being able to invite them because of me. One of my friends spoke to me separately, and he told me he really thinks I'm not fair or a good friend, and asked if it's because I resent not being a groomsman. Feels like any decision I make besides agreeing to go on the trip with the 4 other groomsmen is going to make them mad at me. Am I wrong for backing out of the trip if I am going to be the only non-groomsman?
Am I wrong for giving my friend her baby back before I was supposed to? I'm genuinely struggling with this, so I'll take any honest, direct feedback I can get. I, female 26, am childless, which I think may be relevant here. My close friend A, female 27, had her second baby, R, almost 4 months ago, and her first, T, about 7 years old, has been having trouble adjusting to his new sibling. She'd been feeling a lot of guilt around this, so I let her know that once she's comfortable, I'd be down to babysit R, so she could have some one-on-one time with T. She knows I have 12 siblings. I was literally born an aunt, so she's comfortable with this. She took me up on the offer on Halloween so she could take T trick-or-treating. She asked if I could keep R overnight so she and T could take part in some tradition or other. I adore the baby, so of course I said yes. Halloween rolls around, A drops R off at my apartment at around 4 p.m., and everything's fine. After about an hour, A FaceTimes me to check on the baby. Another 45 minutes go by, A FaceTimes me again. No problem, this baby is really young, so I totally get the anxiety. She continues to FaceTime me every 30 minutes to an hour, even while she takes T trick-or-treating. She'd get to a spot with no signal or Wi-Fi, try to call, the call would drop, and she'd call back to back until FaceTime stopped dropping the call. At some point, they finish up trick-or-treating and go to do their Halloween tradition. Whatever it is, it runs late. She's still wide awake and FaceTiming at around 10 p.m. when I'm getting ready for bed. I ask her if she just wants me to bring R home. She insists that she doesn't want that. I let her know that both R and I are about to be asleep, and I definitely start getting a little holy here. Maybe this would be a good time to finally focus on T. She continues to FaceTime every 30 minutes to an hour. I answer or call her back every time. The last few calls, I try to break it to her gently that she's keeping both me and R awake. And he's already not a great sleeper, so it's getting a little rough settling him back down after her calls wake him up. She does not care. I finally get fed up at some point. A is clearly tired. R can't sleep because his mom won't stop calling. I won't put my phone on silent while I'm babysitting someone's newborn for obvious reasons. And I'm irritated. After we hang up the last time, I pack up R and his things and I take him home. She's genuinely upset with me. I thought I was doing the right thing because she was clearly struggling with being away from the baby. T was asleep by the time I dropped R back off, so it's not like I disturbed their time. I don't have kids, maybe that's why I can't gauge the issue, but someone please let me know if I was an AH for bringing the baby back home.
Am I wrong for saying an acquaintance can't borrow my entire Thanksgiving setup? We, 30s, have hosted a Friendsgiving at our home for a few years with about 20 friends from our community. Last year, a friend of a friend, an acquaintance that we met once briefly at a gathering, reached out to me a few days before the event and asked if she and her husband, 40s, could come. I said sure. They're notoriously hours late to everything and said they'd bring appetizers. Sure enough, 2 hours after everyone else was there, she reached out to me for my address. They live 2 minutes away and everyone else is at our house often. We had to hold off on dinner until they arrived, and it was a little awkward, but no big deal. The next day, this person reaches out to me and asks if she can borrow our table, chairs, plates, silverware, wine glasses, and decorations for a Friendsgiving that they're hosting the next day that we obviously weren't invited to. I was pretty put off and didn't want to deal with having to arrange the logistics of that, as they don't even have a car that can transport the table, etc. I said that no, we were bringing a lot of the stuff to my parents' gathering for Thanksgiving. I didn't hear anything from her after that. Now, after not running into them or hearing from them for a whole year, she just asked again if they can borrow our stuff. Am I wrong for saying no last year and I say no again?
Am I wrong for using a disabled person for my own benefit? So I, 18 female, took ASL lessons in high school, but up until now, I've never had a deaf friend. This year I started college, and there's a deaf-mute person in my class. He uses an interpreter during lessons. Everyone has been nice to him, but no one really tried to get to know him or actually befriend him, so he wasn't very close with anyone. I'm not judging them for that. Had I not already taken ASL in high school, I probably wouldn't have learned just for him either. But after I told him I knew some ASL and started signing with him, we naturally got close. Since September, I've been signing with him almost daily, and my signing has gotten so much better. Anyway, about a week ago, he suggested that I start taking ASL lessons again, and I joked, "That's what you're for." It was absolutely a joke, like I laughed right after as I signed it, but maybe because my signing was off, he took it seriously and got offended. I apologized and explained it was just a joke. He said he understood and even apologized for getting upset in the first place. He acted a bit distant for a couple days more, but eventually got over it, and we're completely fine now. But today, one of my other friends told me that he said he noticed Nolan and I had been a bit distant lately and asked if everything was all right. I told him we had a little fight, but don't worry, we're completely fine now. But for some reason, he wouldn't let it go. First, he made jokes like, "There's some truth in every joke," which I laughed off, but then he said something like, "I knew you wouldn't hang with a guy like him for no reason." I was like, "Excuse me?" I told him that was such a rude thing to say, and he said it was the truth. I called him out for being a bigot idiot and an ableist, which I guess got under his skin because he snapped back at me and said I'm not one to talk that, I'm worse than him, and that I'm taking advantage of a disabled guy and using him for my own benefit. Am I wrong?
Am I wrong for refusing to accompany a friend to pick up pizza, but then going when my close friend decided to go? Last night I was with some friends at someone's place. At some point we ordered pizza, but it was a pickup special. When it was time to go, no one wanted to go. One of my friends said he couldn't go because he'd pulled a muscle at the gym. Another one of my close friends said he'd gone last time and he was playing ping pong with another friend. Another friend and I were excused because don't make the girls walk that late in the cold. Anyway, the friend whose turn I guess it was A said he wasn't going alone and then complained about it being too cold out. The friend who I'm closest to finally said he'd go and get it. I said I'll go too. I didn't think much of it. I just thought it'd be a nice walk and I didn't want him to go alone. Later, as me and the other girl were Ubering back, she told me that it was kind of savage to agree to go when it wasn't A that was going, and that the vibe was a bit off. I said that it wasn't about A at all. I didn't mean it as a snub at all. She said that's what it felt like, at least to A, and it was kind of a hish from his perspective. Was I wrong here?
Am I wrong for feeling not responsible of paying a citation in my girlfriend's parents' car? I'm 24. Male, and my girlfriend is 24. Female, and we both recently moved to New York. Because our housing situation isn't ready to go just yet, we're staying with my girlfriend's parents in the meantime. In general, her parents have been very hospitable and helpful during the move. I drove across the country in my girlfriend's car, registered to her parents, to move all of our belongings. I have driven this car a good amount, and it's definitely more of my girlfriend's car than her parents'. Anyways, last night I was picking up pizza. When I got pulled over by a cop, I was being stupid and had my phone in my hand because I was talking to a friend on speakerphone. The cop got me. Just an unlucky situation, and I shouldn't have even been holding my phone like that in the first place. Additionally, however, the cop told me that there had been no inspection sticker on the car, so he added it to my citation. I had no knowledge that it was missing the sticker, and apparently when I got home it had appeared it had not been inspected at all recently. My GF also did not know either, and because all of the mail alerts go to the registered owner, the parents received the notices from the mail, not my girlfriend. I'm in a weird situation now because obviously I'm responsible for the phone citation, and we'll handle that, but I feel it's unfair that I'm responsible for the inspection citation when I had no knowledge that I was driving without it. My girlfriend thinks I should just pay it because I was the one who got pulled over and we wouldn't be in this situation otherwise. I get that, but I feel that would be the case if I was driving and knowing it wasn't inspected. I was hoping her parents would take responsibility about it since they had not let us know that they got a notice about it. Instead, they seem a bit annoyed and standoffish. I want to note that my finances aren't great at the moment since I just moved and I'm in between jobs, so this extra few $100 is a big deal for me. Am I wrong for feeling entitled to help on the inspection citation? I feel like I'm catching a stray, even if the police never would have done anything about the inspection if they hadn't pulled me over. Like the car should not be driven without this necessary inspection in general, and anyone who's driving it could have gotten pulled over and hit with the extra thing, but it seems now that it's expected that me, the non-owner of this car, be responsible for the inspection citation. Please let me know if I'm missing something I'm not seeing.
Am I wrong for telling my dad's girlfriend to leave when my friends are over? I, 16 male, live with my dad and his girlfriend, 32 female, and normally things are fine. But whenever I have my friends over, she's always around trying to join in on everything we're doing, and it makes me feel like I can't just hang out and be myself. The other day, I had a few friends over, and she came into the room joking and talking with us like she was one of my friends, and I just told her maybe she should leave the house when my friends are over. She looked hurt and left, and I felt bad immediately. But at the same time, I also feel like it's my house too, and I should be able to have some privacy with my friends. My dad told me I could have said it nicer, and that I shouldn't make her feel unwelcome, but I'm just not sure if I was wrong for saying what I said.
Am I wrong for not letting my fiance's family crash over at my house? I, male 27, have been with my fiance, female 32, for 7 years. I am a resident in training but come from a financially comfortable background. My parents brought me a nice house like a year back. My fiance works in retail, comes from a modest family, and had a very struggling childhood. I try my best to give her the best life possible, but lately what's bothering me is the fact that the new house has extra bedrooms, like 3 extra, and since we have moved in somehow, all her family members are having problems of some sort or have troubles with their own places, and she lets them stay in. I don't mind an overnight stay, but they stay for weeks, and her mother hasn't left in 4 months. Now I come home to her brother or sister chilling on the couch and watching TV or using my PS4. Sometimes some aunt or uncle comes to visit her mother, and they stay for days. I don't speak Spanish. I don't understand much what they say and feel excluded in my own house. Whenever I try to talk it with my fiancée, she keeps repeating what struggles her family is facing and how they are important for her happiness. Every time I bring it up, she gets upset like it's my fault that they live with us or find excuses to crash at our place. I don't think I can take this anymore. Neither her family looks like they're grateful.
Am I wrong for backing out of my dad's Christmas party after his fiancée took my baby to meet Santa behind my back? I live a 5-minute walk away from a mall, and they opened up their Christmas display a few days ago. My husband and I were planning on taking our son, who is 8 months old, there for his first Santa visit this past Saturday. My dad's fiancée is a very self-centered person. Most recently, she tried to post about my pregnancy on social media before I did, and confirmed their wedding date, which has since been changed twice, at my sister's birthday party. I'm not fond of her, but she's not usually too hard to tolerate. My immediate paternal family gets together for a small party every year on Christmas Eve. This time, my dad and his fiancée are hosting. I was going to attend it with my husband and our son. Last Thursday, I had a business meeting while my husband was also at work. My dad and his fiancée came over to babysit. I spent some time chatting with them before leaving, and I mentioned our weekend plans, including how we were taking our baby to see Santa. When I got home, my dad's fiancée showed me pictures of herself with my baby and the mall Santa. I don't even have pictures of just my son. She's in all of them. She explained my dad had wanted to take a nap, so she took my son out on a stroll. She went to the mall, saw the Christmas display, and couldn't resist taking my son there herself. Let me make this clear. I'm not too much of a Christmas person, and neither is my husband. But she was well aware we were looking forward to doing this with our son. I'm also upset that my dad napped while babysitting, because we wouldn't have had them watch our baby if we knew it would ultimately just be her. And I never gave either of them permission to remove my child from my place while babysitting. I confronted her and said we wanted to take him ourselves, but she acted confused and claimed she didn't realize it was such a big deal and just wanted to have some fun with the baby. My dad also dismissed my feelings and said I was being dramatic. I grabbed my son and told them to leave. My husband was as upset as I was. We decided we wouldn't attend the Christmas party anymore. We'll figure out something else, but we don't want to spend our baby's first Christmas with her. We made it official over the weekend. A lot of my family has replied that they're not coming if I don't, so now my dad is begging me to change my mind. There's still over a month left before Christmas, and I want to sort this out as soon as possible. I don't want to attend, but I also don't want to ruin the party. So am I wrong?